Hello, my name is Angela Medley, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my Capstone project, Algebra Course Development using iTunes U. A little bit about me. I've been a K-12 virtual instructor for 4 years. I've worked with the Georgia Cyber Academy for those 4 years. Recently, I obtained employment as an adjunct instructor for the Georgia Virtual School. I have taught biology as well as anatomy and physiology for Georgia Virtual School. In 1996, I obtained my Bachelor's of Biology degree from Georgia Tech. In 2010, I obtained my teaching certificate from North Georgia College and State University. In 2011, I obtained my gifted endorsement, and then in December of this year, I should obtain my master's degree in instructional technology from Kennesaw State University. A little bit about the problem that is behind my Capstone project. Why did I want to do my project on this topic? Well, one, I've been in the virtual environment for, like I said, 4 years, and throughout this time I've seen astronomical growth in K-12 online education. I also work with a school, the Georgia Cyber Academy, that is kind of a bridge between homeschooling and traditional public schooling. The students are all at home working alongside a learning coach, which is typically their parent, but they also have the support of a certified teacher as well as requirements to take state mandated tests and other things. So I'm very interested in the home environment option for education. And in researching this, I found that the number of homeschool students surged past a 2.04 million mark in 2010. 1.5 million K-12 students enrolled in an online course in 2010. Homeschool education is the fastest growing form of education over both public and private. And then there are a few Christian-based online algebra programs for homeschool students. In my research, one of the things that was noted was that one of the main reasons homeschool students choose a home environment for their education is due to religious preferences. So I wanted to create a course that was based around the Christian religion. Here is an example of my project plan. I began in January of 2013 researching online options for course development and researching online education best practices. I did this through interviewing KSU professors, Georgia Virtual School course developers, and I also looked at the Florida Virtual Academy content. I also obtained a lot of information about online education best practices through my coursework at Kennesaw State University, and I attended many professional development sessions on this topic. I created a website for the Christian Virtual Academy in May, registering a domain name with GoDaddy. I started the website, but I have not completed it as of this date. This will be a future project that I will complete later on. I developed my curriculum around Saxon Publishers. This is a highly popular textbook that many homeschool students use. And so rather than trying to create my own content from the very beginning and trying to just completely change what a normal homeschool student uses, I decided to use that textbook in my curriculum and align that as well with the Common Core and Georgia Performance Standards. I evaluated the product using current teachers and students. I obtained their feedback in October of 2013. Future projects include marketing the project to homeschool groups in Atlanta at a regular convention that occurs in July of every year. Launch the first cohort in August of 2014, and then evaluate the course based on feedback and make modifications so that these modifications will be implemented by the spring semester 2015. My evaluation, I've already discussed my current evaluation plan, but my future evaluation plan once the course is complete is to use observation, informal surveys during weekly class sessions, feedback from parents and students, and checks for understanding, both formative and summative assessments that will assess student achievement. My results. Here you can see the links For my courses, I developed a course both in iTunes U and a Haiku LMS. And I'm going to tell you the reasons for this on the later slides. But the main reason was because as I dug into this and as I got involved, I realized iTunes U is not a good environment for K through 12 learning. So let's talk about why that is. I'm going to show you some of the differences between iTunes U and Haiku. The first thing is the enrollment process. Students have to have an iTunes U app from the Apple Store, and they have to have an iOS device, which means an iPad or an iPhone. They cannot use a traditional laptop. That's the #1 red flag in K through 12 learning. You can't have very specific requirements like that because the school might not have that kind of technology. The teacher sends the enrollment link to the student, and when the student clicks on that link, it loads the course into their iTunes U app, so you can see what it would look like there on the screen. In Haiku, the teacher enters the student's email into Haiku, and then it automatically sends out an email to the student with the enrollment link. Now here's some differences in iTunes and Haiku. On the left here you can see iTunes U, the Where Does Algebra Come From assignment. You can see at the top left there's some verbiage about where algebra comes from. And this was a cultural lesson to teach them how algebra actually comes from the Middle East. And then on the bottom corner there in the iTunes section, you can see that I have a video on the history behind algebra, but it is posted as a link. So the student is going to have to copy that link and paste it into a browser in order to watch the video. This is not a very good option for K through 12 students. On the right, you can see the same assignment in Haiku. You can see that it is visually more appealing. It looks more engaging and motivating. But also there's that beautiful little white triangle where the student can just press play and watch the video right there on the screen. Another difference is in images. On the left, you can see that I've uploaded a Super V image, but you cannot see it in iTunes U. The student actually has to click on that and download the image in order to see it. In Haiku, the image is right there on the screen, front and center, for the student to be able to see. This helps with motivation and engagement. It helps draw the student into the assignment. This is a little lesson that I created on variables. Variables scare students to death. I don't know why, but they're scared of this little letter that replaces some number. So I used an analogy as a superhero, and I called it super variable. And so we just kind of made it a fun, lighthearted lesson to help take away the tension about variables. Now let's look at some of the different features. iTunes Features offers an Info tab. This shows you the overview, instructor information, and an outline for the course. The Post section is just a posting of all of the content in the course. And you can see one of the nice features here is that you can actually check assignments off as you've completed them. The Notes section allows the students to take notes. And then the materials section is kind of a bank of all the materials that have been uploaded for this course. So you can see there are 9 videos, 4 documents, and 1 image. Haiku is much more user-friendly as far as K-12 education goes. It has a nice calendar feature. This is where the teacher can actually add assignments on the day that the student is supposed to complete that assignment. So all the student has to do is open up that calendar feature or maybe even print it out, and they have a course schedule to follow. The Connect feature allows the teacher to post announcements for the class. There's a discussion area where the students can talk to one another in a discussion format. There's a Dropbox for where they can post assignments that they've completed, an inbox, polling option, and wiki project option. The assessment feature is one of the great features that is necessary in K through 12 education. Here's where you can actually add the assignments, and you can tell it if it's due in the Dropbox or if it's an actual quiz or whatever the assignment is. There's an attendance area, and then there's a grade area that the student can utilize to check their grades and see a gradebook format, and then there's a report format. Now, I've kind of visually taken you through my reflection, but here I'm going to summarize it. The differences between iTunes U and the LMS is that iTunes U lacks the ability to utilize HTML embed codes. iTunes U cannot easily upload images so that they can visually pop out at the student. iTunes U requires Apple-specific products. The LMS contains gradebook, announcement, and Dropbox features, which are great for K-12 learning. And then, of course, the training is very different for iTunes U and LMS. Many teachers might not have even had any experience with an Apple product before, so the training is going to have to take place from the beginning, from the Apple product. How do you use it? How do you get to the App Store? Things like that. Where the LMS is more web-based, they know how to use a web browser and things like that, so the training is much easier for that. Now for the credits, I'd like to credit iTunes U, Haiku Learning Management System, YouTube, Screencast, and Wacom Board. When you look through my course in either iTunes U or the Haiku LMS, you'll see that I made several screencasts where I taught a lesson on math using a whiteboard application. I captured my screen, and then I also utilized a Wacom board, which allowed me to write on this screen to work out math problems there. Then I uploaded this to YouTube so that I could get the embed code and post it right into my content. All right, well, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and I hope that it has helped you to understand the differences between iTunes U and Haiku and how I went through the steps of creating an algebra course in both. Have a great day. Thank you.